Maddie, that's kind of loud, honey.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm well, thank
Good. You're in your car?
you. Yeah, just getting from work. I think my baby is it. Oh, yeah.
Okay. I didn't know if I'd be able to have class today, but it turned out that I could. So this next weekend, for sure not.
Okay. So I know we're coming up on the beginning of October. You said that you would get back to me.
We can talk to it after class.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Took the words right out of my mouth. I was gonna ask you, can we talk after class?
Yeah. Yep. Okay, Roz is here. Name my screen. Hello.
Hi. Hi, Joey. Hi, Katie.
Hi, Roz. Oh, my hair. How's your book coming?
Oh, the book is done. It'll be
Oh.
out in February.
Oh, okay, good.
Congratulations. All right, we're gonna give a few more minutes to give folks to get here. Okay.
Hey, bro.
Hey, good evening. How's it going? How y'all doing?
Very
Good.
good, very good.
A lot going on.
Yes, yes, there is, isn't there? The world is interesting. I have to get back. I just saw your text, but I'll text you after class. I'll text her after class.
Yeah, I was like, I was laughing. I said, E is gonna be like these Hernandez's, boy.
But it's so interesting how, as a family, you know, that everything happened the way it did. I just find it to be very interesting.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't want to go outside to don't do nothing. I was like, let me just stay put. Let me seriously.
Even when we think we're not connected, we're connected.
No doubt. Definitely learn that. Learning that.
That
Yes. But yeah,
but it's all good though. It's all good.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Sounds like it.
Yes.
It's everybody's okay. That's
Everybody is good. My Fede Funa like ba.
That's real.
Looking out for folks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Roz and Katie and wait, what's I always forget.
Edith.
Edith. That's right. Thank you. I was about to say Miss Busio. Yeah, Edith. How's everybody doing?
Doing
I'm
good.
doing good. Today was my off day.
Oh,
Yay.
yay, yay.
I'm also doing well, but I am driving. I just got out of work, so I'm going to mute myself. It might be hard for me to speak, but I'm
Okay.
listening.
Good to have you with us. Well,
Likewise.
this class is going to be kind of participatory because we're going over prayers and we're going to review the Mojuba again and talk about praise poems again. Just to so we're going to kind of recycle some of the same ideas. We have folks who weren't not here before to have the same advantage to see and participate before, so it may be new for you, but in a way familiar. So we're going to give everyone a chance to refamiliarize yourself with the Mojuba prayer. I wish Joey would come back on. She was on and then she left. She could really use this. So it may be difficult for you to participate, Edith, given that you're not able to really look at a screen and engage at the same level. Oh yeah, she's back, good. But do what you can. I think Joey's still driving too. She was driving before she came on. So, oh, is she home now? You home now? Okay, looks like your house.
Yes, I'm home. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I was explaining to Edith, who is driving, that for those who are driving, it may be fairly difficult to engage because we're doing the Mojuba prayer. We're reviewing it, and even though this is the third weekend I've done this, I don't think it could, I don't think it's repetitive in the sense of feeling like it's something, you know what I mean? It's something that people can definitely feel advantaged to see more than once. So we're going to go over the Mojuba. We're going to talk about Mofari Ballet, or do our reflections on what the Mofari Ballet, which is a part of prayer, and answer any questions. And there were some questions that I received from some other folks who were in the class last week that I thought would be, and I'm going to see if I can remember what those questions were, but they were, I thought, good questions that would be great to answer in case others had the same questions about how to apply certain aspects of the prayer. So I wanted to give everyone a chance to, again, for those who are feeling like they want to give everyone a chance to reflect and to actually not reflect, but speak the prayer. And also, if those who were in the class last week recall, we ended the class with our own mini version of the Oriki challenge, where we looked at writing our own Oriki for an ancestor that we could use in prayer with them. That was something we did. Yeah, you were here. That's what you were here. So yeah, so we started that process last week. I shared my Oriki. Antonica, who is also, now that she's received her Henrifa Adegoke, she shared her Oriki, and that was it. So for those who had the chance to work on an Oriki for your ancestor, you feel free to share it this week. I may actually just work on another one. I may do I may do a little freestyle Oriki for my, I may do one for one of my ancestors. So that's the structure for the class today. So it's not going to change much from what we did before. But it'll just to give you all a chance to see where we're going with how we're going to share time together today. So this is, I guess I'll go into presentation mode. Why not? Yes, I know you can see my screen. Yeah, start from the beginning. Come on, why don't you start from the beginning with the presentation? There we go. Okay, so since we have such a mix of people who are in the class and who were not in the class, I'm gonna ask for those of you who are in the class to please bear with me in talking about this again. So we talked about what are the tools that work to help prayer in working with Orisha work. And we talked about three primary tools in working with Orisha. The first tool we talked about was Mofori Ballet, which is literally the act of putting our heads to the ground, and how for our tradition, that is a prayer tool. That tool helps to establish our supplication to the Orishas. It helps to establish our ability to recognize our position in relationship to the Orishas and/or the Orishas on the heads of our elders. And it also helps to connect us with where we are in relationship to our journey, learning, growing, gathering what we need to continue our journey, whether it be information, whether it be lessons learned, whether it be changes we have to make that support our health and growth. So Mofori Ballet symbolizes all of that. And so there's another tool that I did not mention before that complements the Mofori Ballet. So the Mofori Ballet is not subscribed to any particular Orisha. A Mofori Ballet is literally when you get on your knees and you put your head to the floor. And another thing I said about the Mofori Ballet earlier is that it also symbolizes our trajectory and our spiritual journey. Whenever we go through a major change, or whether it's receiving Orisha, presenting to receive an Orisha, presenting to receive initiation rites, presenting to work through a problem that's transformative to our lives, we put our heads to the floor. So that is symbolic of that as well. So the Mofori Ballet is a symbol. So we put our heads to the floor for all Orisha. And I wanted to also emphasize, and we mentioned the first week, that for Alegba, it's a little different because there are Alegbas that we salute that we can put our head to the floor, and Alegbas that we don't salute and put our head to the floor. Okay, so I want to emphasize this again so everyone understands. So if you are saluting, and so many of you, all of you actually at this point, have come to greet Alegba at the door of my home or another place potentially, right? So when you greet Alegba, do you put your head to the floor in those processes? No, right? So some houses tell people you turn around 3 times. When you clap, turn around 3 times, and then do a little curtsy, but you don't put your head to the floor. Other houses, knock, 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 turn around, do a little dance with your feet, like shuffling them backwards, and then do the curtsy. So there's variations on the same thing. Basically, you're acknowledging Alegba with your feet in some kind of way, right? Because Alegba journeys with us on the road. And so the feet are like the part of the body that Alegba rules over, because of his role in supporting our feet. And when we receive that Orisha, for those of you who have your warriors and have that Orisha is the Orisha of your feet, right? So he is not the Orisha unless you have a Legba as your Orisha. Then he's your Orisha of your head. So if someone comes to salute that Orisha, like if you have a throne set up for a Legba and the head, and the Legba that represents your head is on the throne, then, oh, Maria is here. What you say? I was just thinking about her. So you have the Legba of your head. You can and should put your head to the floor for the Legba of somebody's head. For example, if Rosalind were to initiate as a child of a Legba and others came to greet her Legba during her initiation celebration, they would put their head to the floor to that Orisha of her head. But if you were to go to her house, even though she's a child of a Legba, if you were to go to her house and greet her Legba that's by her door, that Orisha you do not greet by putting your head on the floor, because that is not the Orisha of the head. Okay? So with a Legba, it's very, very different and very specific, because a child of a Legba can have that Orisha on their head and on their feet. So I wanted to make sure that was clear to everybody, because that's actually a pretty important distinction to make when talking about that Orisha specifically. Okay. So generally, otherwise, with other Orisha, with some exceptions too, but generally with other Orisha, you can put your head to the floor to those Orisha. So I want to give, since that's I kind of gave another layer to that discussion as we talked about before in terms of how we actually use that prayer tool of Mofodi Ballet, right? So 1 second, I want to make sure I have something that I need to take care of. 1 second, I'll be right back. Sorry about that interruption. So are there any questions about what I just talked about? Everyone's clear.
I have a question.
Sure.
When you do salute the Orisha with your head, do you have to have a mat?
No. In fact, that's actually a good question. In fact, once you receive your alekes and you go through that process of Mofodi Ballet, and I was going to mention the other one, which is Kunle, when you Mofodi Ballet to the Orisha, whether you are female Orisha or you're a male Orisha, you're in terms of who your Orisha is on your head, you don't have to wait for a mat. If you're a Yawo, you carry a mat with you as a part of that process. But generally you don't have to have a mat to hit the floor. If your elder is standing in front of you and it's a ceremony and you're in a ceremonial context with that elder, you can definitely, and some of you have witnessed that with me when I walk in the room with my godmother and my Jabona, and the elders that are older than me in the Ile, hit the floor. There's no mat involved. So you definitely don't need a mat. And many of you who have saluted and have saluted without a mat. And because like some of you have asked, can I salute? There's a time to salute, because oftentimes you don't have to worry about whether you have a mat underneath you to salute. Okay. So even if you're at the throne of an Orisha, you do not need a mat to salute that Orisha. if you're having an offering being received by that Orisha, a mat may be present, but it is not required. That is the discretion of the person who oversees the shrine. So I mentioned Mofodi Ballet. I'm sorry, does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So for Kunle is when you greet the Orisha or an initiated priest or a Babalawo with in the vein of the Orisha that's on your head. So that's when you either go elbow to elbow, hip to hip, or go with your head to the floor. So that's Kunle. Okay. So if you hear someone say Kunle, that means that's what that's referring to. Either doing the elbow, hip to hip, depending on if that's your Orisha, if that Orisha responds to that, or if it's your head to the ground. And in some Orisha's cases, a knee to the floor and the head bowed. Certain warriors can salute by putting their knee to the floor and their head down when their hand on their knee. So, so that is also another prayer tool when you're saluting your elders and you're saluting your Orisha is the Kunle. So Mojuba, which we talked about extensively last time, is the prayer that we use in ceremony, that we use when we're greeting our Orishas, when we are going to visit, say if you go to the home of a priest and you want to salute their Orisha, you can ask, may I salute your Orisha? And they can say yes. And you can go and you can say a quick Mojuba to their Orisha. So the Mojuba that I'm sharing is the ceremonial Mojuba that's used in ceremony that's brief. Learning the full Mojuba is something that, and for some people, takes years because you're not only learning the technical structure of the Mojuba, you're also learning your elders and your lineage. You're learning your elders and your Ilay. You're learning the prayers to the Orisha specifically, which also can be included. If you're praying and you want to say a prayer to a particular Orisha, you can say in the Riki to accommodate your Mojuba. You're also learning about the Osobos and the E-rays that exist that we acknowledge as part of the Mojuba. So you're learning and how to incorporate them. So if you know there's a particular type of E-ray that you want to support yourself or support somebody you're praying for, mentioning that E-ray when you're praying with that intention connects you with the Orisha in a specific way around what you're looking for support in. So when I say E-ray and I mention the E-rays, or I mention the Kosi and I mention certain things in Osopos that are connected to what's happening in whatever the situation is, I'm intentionally focusing on what things I want to support that person to be removed. So, and sometimes I'll mention those that are not oftentimes mentioned, but that I know that they're Osopo because of my study of what Osopo is. So when you start to learn the Mojuba, it can take years to learn it because you're incorporating knowledge and inferences from your studies that support your prayer process. So even when you get the technical stuff down, you can still always learn more. You can always evolve your Mojuba to be bigger than what than the ceremonial one that you're learning today. So but starting from where you're starting with the Mojuba we have is a good start, and it's going to be something that you can build on. Okay, any questions about what I've talked about so far? Everybody good? Hi, Maria. Good to see you. Good to see your name. You've been on my mind. I emailed you and I didn't hear back, and I was hoping everything was okay. But we'll talk. So Adegoke is joining us. Hello, how are you?
Hi, yeah. Hi, everybody.
All right. So we were just talking about the difference between the Mofori Ballet and the Kunle, which is when you salute according to Orisha. But you were in the first class, so you heard some of this already. And we were talking about the Mojuba. And you're going to learn prayers related to receiving the hand of Ifa. So that's another thing that can also be incorporated. So you're going to have more tools, prayer tools, because you'll have some other knowledge that will support your growth as well. But we were talking about how those work with using them as tools. Now, the Oriki or praise names are ways to give specific types of praise to an Orisha based on either your knowledge of that Orisha, how that Orisha works for you, or your knowledge of traditional Orikis. So they can be phrases you apply, like one phrase that's oftentimes applied to Alegba is he's referred to as the vital force. That's a very common Oriki that is attributed to Alegba as the vital force, or as the one who sits in royal state, or as the one who is the talkative one, or as the one who knows the one who always knows. That's one Oriki that I use with Alegba a lot, especially if I have a question I want to ask him, and maybe I'm not clear about what, I don't know what's going to come out at the other end. I always remind myself when I say to Alegba, I know that you're the one who knows. Even if I don't know, that's why I'm coming to you, because you are the one who always knows. So when you think about Oriki and how you can apply, you don't have to learn like 15 lines of Oriki from traditional prayers. You can learn 3 lines of Oriki. And when you pray to your Orisha and be doing just fine, doing more than fine. If you say Ladoye, the talkative one, Ladoye ala komako, you're the talkative one, the one who knows. And add in the what was the one for the vital force again? I have to remember the one for the vital force again. I'll remember it. But you can start with those 2 and build from there. And think of other, or you can refer to your Orisha name of the Orisha of your Alegba, say for instance. So you know if your Alegba's name is Eshu Okun, you can say Eshu Okun, Ladoye, Alakomako, and then talk to him and tell him what you want to tell him. So Orikis are a way to connect your growing knowledge of who they are and how they show up for you, as well as give you a chance to connect to the traditional idea of what that Orisha is when you speak to that Orisha. Okay. So we have the Mojuba. This is a ceremonial Mojuba. It's one that it covers the overall Mojuba prayer, but in a shorter phrase, in shorter time, kind of, or with less said, with not as many lines said. So the first line, Mojuba Olorun, Mojuba Olofin, Mojuba Olodumare, refers to the 3 major aspects that we attribute to God. We attribute to God as owner of the place where we all go when we are no longer here, owner of heaven, owner of the place that's eternal, because we believe we visit the marketplace, but we live in heaven. So God is literally owner of the place where we are all meant to dwell for eternity. And so we're acknowledging God's role as ruler of that. We're also acknowledge God as ruler of all of the rules that guide, and the ruler of all the ways we are guided in the world. Olofin is like the God that makes the rules that we live by. So it's literally acknowledging God as the one that has dominion over all of what we know to be right and just and true. And the laws of nature, the laws of physics, the laws of humanity, the laws of all of those laws are for us are God's laws. So when we say Olofin, we're referring to the Olofin as the one who makes those laws. And when we refer to Olofin in Pataki, oftentimes Olofin shows up to make a decree about a thing. So like Olofin made the decree that the coconut should only become a servant because of his lack of humility. When beggars came to his party in his fabulous palace, and he was rude to the beggars, and Alegba, who is the witness to all destiny and who is a friend to the beggar, told Olodumare, or told God, right? And so Olofin is that aspect of nature of God that says, okay, you made that decision, this is what's going to happen, because this is how, because this is the way life shares with us how we know things to be true or not true, how we know good to be good and how we know bad to be bad. So that's what Olofin represents, the energy and knowledge of how we know what is good to be good and what we know bad is to be bad. And Olodumare is the container of all possibilities, the container of everything that's ever existed, ever will exist, ever and exist in the present. So Olodumare is container of everything. We refer to the container of the rainbow that never ends, all of these things. And here, the repository of all possibility, that's Olodumare. And then Mojuba Baba, Mojuba Ye, mother and father. And this is whether, and we make this, whether, as I mentioned before, whether the mother is living or father is living or passed on. We acknowledge our parents for their role in making sure we live here, that we exist, that we have the opportunity to have breath to even acknowledge them. So we acknowledge the mother and the father. Whether you like them or not, whether you love them or not, whether you know them or not, we still acknowledge them. Moshiba Bokbo Egun, that's all of your ancestors. So this is a short version. So in the longer version, you would acknowledge your birth ancestors by saying Moshiba Bokbo Egun, but then you would also acknowledge your spiritual ancestors by name. And so that can be contained in the longer Mojuba, where you say Mojuba Boko Egun Ararun. And then you talk about the ancestors who from your spiritual lineage. And so when you all hear me say Ararun, I'm speaking of Mojuba Boko Egun Ararun. I'm speaking of all of and I start to name names, spiritual names like Oshun Kayode, Ibimbi, Meyer Demi, Ordun, Talade Oshun, Oshabi, Shango Lari. Those are all our spiritual ancestors that I'm naming. So I'm naming our lineage dating back to the ones who were enslaved and brought to Cuba. And then from there, their lineage that they established, and that's led to my birthing into being a daughter of Oshun. So when you hear me say that, that's what I'm mentioning. Kinkamashe, Kinkamashe, El Orisha or Babal Orisha, me. So that is saying, acknowledging Kinkamashe, you're praying that your godparents are well, basically. That you're praying that they are well so that we can be well. Same for those who have an Ajabona, your Ajabona Khan, praying that no harm comes to your Ajabona Khan. So we say, you can say Kinkamashe El Orisha me, and then you can say their name, or you can say Kinkamashe Ogongolo you. That's my godmother, right? I can say Kinkamashe Ogongolo you, and that'll also be fine. Or I can say Kinkamashe Iya Tobi me, which is another way of acknowledging my Iya, because she is her initiation to a Legba made it possible for me to be born. In Iya Tobi, the mother who gives birth. So Iya Tobi is referring to the godmother who gave birth to me as a daughter of Oshun. So when you get to that point where when you get to the point of initiation, you can say Iya Tobi ni or Baba Tobi ni. So Kinkamashe, so there are different ways. I'm giving you different options for how you can do this. But if you say Kinkamashe Oshumuyiwa, my initiated name, you can say that, and that can replace El Orisha. Okay. It's a little short, what would you call it? The short notes, I forgot there's a word for it. I forgot.
Cliff notes.
Cliff notes. Cliff notes. Cliff notes. Thank you. So that's the Cliff Notes version, right? But it is largely recognizable. Kinkamashe. I even there was a Babalao who I went through rituals with again. He says Kinkamashe too. He says Kinkamashe to his living elders. So you can start your Kinkamashes with your El Orisha and your Babal Orisha, but you can also include other elders you want to acknowledge. If you want to pray no harm comes to the person who made your Legba, you can say that. You can say Kinkamashe Eshubi. If you want to acknowledge an elder in the Ile that just, that's close to your heart, or that does a lot of things for you or helped you out, and you want to give them some acknowledgement, you can say Kinkamashe Fadesie, or Kinkamashe Omisainde, or Kinkamashe Baba D. If you don't know the person's name, Kinkamashe Baba Alaje, Kinkamashe Iabibi, Kinkamashe Ia Shanaka, Kinkamashe Ia Rege. You can, so this is not, it can be formal, but it can also be familiar, because when you're praying with your mind and your heart, right? So whatever is in your mind and your heart is also being transmitted. So you say Ia Bibi, they're gonna know you're talking about Ia Bibi Ode Rende, if you don't know her Orisha name, because you're thinking and feeling and connecting to her when you pray, right? So when I say Chief Ebahon, who's the person who initiated me into the mysteries of Olokun through the Benin system, when I mention him, I can say Chief Ebahon, although there's probably not more than one Chief Ebahon, because he's kind of like that. But there may be other Chief Ebahons, but because I'm keeping him and my connection with him in my mind and my heart, and the Legba was a witness to that connection when I received those mysteries. Legba knows I'm talking about Chief Ebahon from Benin that initiated me to the mysteries of Olokun. He knows. So give yourself that freedom to connect with the people you're thinking about. So if you say Kinkamashe Ia Deidre, that's fine too. If you don't remember my initiated name, you can say Kinkamashe Ia Deidre. And a Legba will hear you when you say that. And he will know you're talking about me. Okay. Kinkamashe Ajabona Khan, that's the second godparent. right? So if you don't have an Ajibona Khan, you don't have to worry about saying that. Kinkamashe Oba. So most of the time you don't have to say Kinkamashe Oba. If you're talking to your Orishas and you're not in ceremony, you don't have to say Kinkamashe Oba. You can say Kinkamashe, you can say other elders in your lineage that you want to acknowledge. Okay. So you say Kinkamashe Oba if you're in a ceremonial situation and you acknowledge the person who's supporting officiation over the ritual that's happening. Okay. But you can always say Kinkamashe Bogbo Iworo or Bogbo Igboro. That's acknowledging all the priests who are in your, even if there are no priests present around you, you're acknowledging the priests in your lineage that you don't say by name. Or you can say Bogbo Iworo Kale Ile. Kale Ile acknowledges of your actual lineage in your spiritual house. So when you add Kale Ile, you're acknowledging your own spiritual family. Okay, any questions? None? Y'all got it all down? So who's gonna recite it first then? I know y'all ready then. Y'all ready? Y'all ain't got no questions. Y'all must be ready.
Me and Andres already went. And
She's like, I'm out.
Isai. So
She's like, we did our part. So who gonna do their part?
Thanks, sis. Appreciate that.
She's like, I got your back. All right. So yes, they did go. So that leaves room for others who'd like to go. But like Katie said, I appreciate what you said about the rhythm of it and remembering the rhythm of it, because you've heard me say it, I don't know how many times by now. When you hear the rhythm of it, that gives you a sense of how the cadence of it sounds and how it will sound when you speak it on your own tongue. So even if you've never said it, if you've heard it a number of times, your capacity to connect what you've heard and felt with what you're going to say, it's all fluid. It's all fluid. You just have to trust yourself. It's sometimes just a matter of trusting yourself. But I would like for at least one person to try.
Okay.
That's my person. Thank you.
We got your back, Roz. We got you.
Okay. So you just want me to recite it?
Yes. Only the Yoruba, only not the translation,
Yes.
just the line.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Mojuba Olarun, Mojuba Olafin, Mojuba Olumare, Mojuba Baba, Mojuba Yeye, Mojuba Bokbo Igun, Kinkamashe Iya Oshun Miwami, Kinkamashe Oju Bona Kani, Kinkamashe Boko Igoboro.
Good. All right. Let's give her a hey. Where's my hand?
Hey.
Hey, I can't find my hand. Where are my reaction buttons?
It's under reaction.
I know, but I can't, my reaction buttons, because I'm sharing my screen.
Oh, you can't see it?
Yeah, I can't see my reaction. Oh, here we are. Okay. Why they make my hands all yellow again? Made my hands all yellow. Okay. No, that's not the skin tone I wanted. Anyway, I just reset everything, so I have to reset my skin tone and everything. All right, but yay, thank you. Thank you, thank you. All right. So I think you did good. You remembered my initiated name, which is Oshumu Yiwa. So it's Muyiwa at the end. And oh, I didn't need to do that. And you acknowledge your Obojan Ajubona Khan, who is Oshun Leye, that is her name, or you could say Iatiombe or Oshun Leye. And you went straight to the Kinkamashe Bokbo Iworo. And if saying that GB is too much, you can Lucamize it, Spanish Lucamize it, and say Iworo. In fact, the majority of us in Ile say Iworo. When you hear Bokbo Iworo, that's because there is no GB pronunciation in Cuban Spanish. I don't think in any Spanish, but definitely not Cuban Spanish. So they say wo rather than bo. So when you hear me say Bokbo Iworo, that's my lineage talking, even though I know it's Bokbo Iworo. Okay. Very good. Any other takers? All righty, I'll let y'all off the hook this time. But I think you all are, I'm surprised Fatumbi isn't trying to say it.
Me too.
I'm just saying, I'm surprised.
Are you there, Fatumbi? Usually you got something to say.
You know,
Yes, I'm sorry. I'm at an event. I'm about to
Ryan.
start setting up to bend there.
Oh, okay.
So like I was saying, I'm very surprised that Fatumbi isn't saying anything or reciting with us. So can we give you a little more time before you recite the Mojuba?
I can do it real quick, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Okay. Okay, it's Oshumiwa, right?
Oshun Muyiwa.
Muyiwa. Okay.
Miwa is an Orisha name, but mine is Muyiwa. Oshun brings one with the character. That's what my Oshun name means.
Wait, say it again.
Oshun brings one with good character.
Oshumiwa.
Muyiwa.
Muyiwa. Oshumoyiwa. Oshumoyiwa. Okay. Okay. Mojuba Lorum, Mojuba Lofi, Mojuba Lodumare, Mojuba Baba mi, Mojuba Yeye mi, Mojuba Bobo Egun, Kikamashe, Oshumuyiwa, Kikamashe, Ojubanakani.
Yours is
Kikamashe.
Ogongolo you, I believe.
Say it again.
Isn't yours Ogongolo you?
Yes, it is. Okay. Kikamashe Oshun Muyiwa. Kikamashe Ogogolon you. Okay. Kikamashe Oba. Kikamashe Ukbobo Ugboro. Yeah. Kikamashe Ukbobo Ugboro.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, very good. I was mentioning that you said Oba, which isn't wrong, but normally when we're speaking directly, like if you were to greet a Legba, you wouldn't have to acknowledge the Oba when you're greeting a Legba, because that's normally related to a person that's supporting you in ceremony, because the Oba is the person who officiates the ceremony.
Okay.
So other than that, like I was saying, you guys are doing good. Okay. All right. So now that you all have heard a couple of folks say it, maybe that'll give you a little more courage to also try to incorporate this and say it. For those of you who have have your warriors or your Legbas, you can definitely use this as a prayer to speak with them. You can definitely use it as a way to greet them and connect with them, in addition to Omi Tutu, Ona Tutu, Ile Tutu, Ashe Tutu, Tutu Ladoye, Tutu Adiku Babawa. You can start with that, and you can add this as a prayer to work with your Orisha. Okay. Any questions? I'm monitoring the chat. Oh, Joey says she thinks she has a bad connection. Okay. All right. So, any questions? Okay. Thank you for those brave souls. So we talked about Oriki before. We talked about how it's a preservation tool. It's a tool to give us connection to history, particularly Yoruba history and culture. This oftentimes preserved through Oriki. And we can use Oriki to emulate or praise someone, whether they are with us or whether they have departed from us, or whether we are praising Orisha. If there is a particular occasion we like to mark and celebrate, we can use Oriki to mark that celebrate that occasion. And we can also reinforce our values, even when we're talking about the Orisha that we're praising. When we praise a Legba for certain aspects of what a Legba does for us, and by nature, by extension, we're talking about what we value. We value the ability to have a vital force of protection. We value his role as witness to our destiny. We value his capacity to alert us when there's trouble on the road, whether the road be physical or the road be emotional or the road be financial or the road be otherwise. So Alegba, if we're just, since we were talking about Alegba before, Alegba has all these roles that Alegba plays in our life. And we can use Oriki as a way to acknowledge that in our lives, with any Orisha, right? We talk about Oshun and we can praise her for her beauty, for being the mother of brass, for being the one that teaches us the most about love, that teaches us the most about how to care for children in the womb, for healing mothers, for liberating women, for helping us to see our true selves and not labor under illusions about who we are. To make sure that we taste sweetness in life before we taste bitterness. All of these things are inherent in all of these qualities of Oshun are things we value. So when we talk about Oriki with Oshun, we can name Oriki that can give us that feeling and connection to those values while also praising Oshun. And if there are things that we know about, like as I mentioned, Orisha or Egun, we can incorporate that into an Oriki. And Antronika Adegoke did a wonderful job last week in sharing her Oriki with us about an ancestor that she wanted to acknowledge using her knowledge of the Oriki challenge that she was familiar with. So we had as an assignment last week to put together a praise song or praise poem or an Oriki for an ancestor of ours that we wanted to acknowledge and praise. So I wanted to know if anyone else, I think who was here last week, Dreas was here and Katie was here last week. If either of you had the chance to put together a praise poem for an ancestor you would like to you'd like to acknowledge, if either of you had a chance to do that. And like I said, it doesn't have to be long. It can be short. It doesn't have to be. It can just be your feelings, your thoughts, your memories, moments that you want to share in history. What ways they were impactful in your life or in the life of others.
I'll go.
Oh, okay, great.
Should I say who it is first or say it at the end? I think you said you're gonna leave it up to me. Okay.
Yes, it's up to you. I'm leaving it up to you.
Okay. Okay. To the one of many beautiful mysteries, bringing the thunderous boom to any bowling alley she walked into, with striking down any danger that came my way. My provider, whose love was unique, the one who chose me, Ibaye, Sonia Elsa Elliott, my mom.
That was really great.
I was gonna say I can't hear you. Okay, so it was short,
really great.
but my
Yeah.
mom was like that, and I just felt her like, girl, I don't need, like keep it simple. So yeah,
She was a serious bowler.
oh yeah, that's how we went to Belize all those times, because she would win championships.
Oh, that's right. You did say that. You did tell me that.
Yeah, so that's how we funded our trips.
Wow. Yes, see? And Trinika giving you your. That was great. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, that was beautiful. It's great to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, y'all.
We got to know her personality. We got to know what she loves. We got to know what type of protector she is. Got to know what kind of real special connection you two share. All of that in a few sentences. That's a powerful lyric when you hear that come together. All right. So do we have another possible example of an Ariki?
Yeah, I'm driving, so I can't look at the one I wrote. So I'm gonna have to.
Oh, you're
freestyle.
driving?
Yeah, but I just have to freestyle it. Just
Okay,
start
well,
it.
you can.
Barely. But I'll just try to at least capture the spirit of what I wrote. I have to read what I wrote another time. But no, this is dedicated to my father, Jose Antonio Hernandez, also known as T, also known as Mr. T, also known as Big Tony, also known as Daddy to me, who went by many names, and all those names reflect your personalities, which you hid from the world, but still gave through your gift of music, through your artistry, through your fire and passion for your people, and continue to pass that on to me, your grandsons who you never met. I dedicate this to you, Ashe. Ashe, Ashe.
See, that's why we do this. That's why we do this, right? That was beautiful. You almost made me tear up. That was really good. So
Thank
that's
God.
how we do. Yeah, that's.
I was trying to avoid somebody trying to hit me while I was saying this. So. I'm like, uh-oh, somebody trying to take me out of the Ariki, the Ariki challenge.
In more ways than one.
Right, exactly. Like, what's going on? I told you I'm trying to stay put right now. It's too much going on. There's too much going on.
Oh man, this retrograde is going to be an interesting dance. That's all I have to say.
Yes, I have a longer one. I just haven't. Like I said, I couldn't read my notes, so I'll just freestyling. So.
Okay. Now y'all make me want to grab mine. Did I keep mine in here, or did I put it in the other room? I think I put it in the other room. 'Cause I've written different types like this. You know what? I think I took mine and put mine in the other room. I did.
Yeah, oh,
Go ahead.
sorry. Oh, so these Orikis, we can continue, like we can write them and then we can offer them as prayers to our ancestors, correct?
Yes. So what we did last week was we did a little musical interlude and gave everyone a chance to kind of work on them. I don't know if you all want to do that again this week, or if you want to use like 10 minutes of just, some music playing in the background, give y'all a chance to work on something. How do y'all feel about that as an option?
Yeah, that since I missed the last one, I think that'd be great.
For those who already went through this process, do you mind if we do that for our brother and sister and give them a chance to work on it? Yeah, I see one thumbs up.
Yeah, that's fine. That's great.
All righty, so I'm gonna turn on some music and give y'all a chance to work on them. And I know there were several people who are not here this week who I understand did finish theirs, but they aren't able to share what they did this week. All right, let's see if we can, I want to do that song. Let's see. Conco Cantos. Let's see what other one. Okay, yeah, let's do, let's do Oba song to, a song to, it'll take us through, about 10 minutes will take us through to, for Oshun, Oba, Oshun, and Obatala. Okay, yeah, we'll do that. Okay.
y a mí le oro y a mí le oro bombo H y che mi sana y a mí le oro y te huere y tao chung y te huere y te huere y tao chung y te huere y taia ocha kini pa y tao chung cheque y taia y te huere y te huere y tao chung y te huere y te huere y tao chung y te huere y taia ocha kini pa y tao chung cheque y taia y te huere y te huere y tao chung y te huere y te huere y tao chung y te huere y taia ocha kini pa y tao chung cheque y taia y te huere Ara uyeye walerea, yeye walere, ara iyeye walerea, yeye walere, ara iyeye wale, oropa mi kuyeye, eure, 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 oropa mi kuyeye, amana, amana, oropa mi kuyeye, obote, 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 oropa mi o, bamba, iroko, bamba, oropa mi o, bamba, iroko, bamba, oropa mi o, bamba, iroko, bamba, oropa mi o, bamba, iroko, bamba. Oroba mío, bamba, iroko, bamba. Oroba mi, bamba, iroko, bamba. Bamba, iroko, bamba. Bamba, iroko, bamba. Bamba, iroko, bamba. Bamba, iroko, bamba.
Ay en Beleto, toito.
Ay en Beleto,
Toito.
ay en Beleto,
Toito.
ay en Beleto, 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 ay en Beleto. Guaya guaya sin baile, o batala sin baile. Guaya guaya sin baile, o batala sin baile. Guaya guaya sin baile, ayaguna sin baile. Guaya guaya sin baile, o sagriña sin baile. Guaya guaya sin baile, o vamoro sin baile. Guaya guaya sin baile.
Ayembeleto, toito.
Ayembeleto,
Toito.
ayembeleto,
Toito. Wangole waoche. Wangole wawona.
ayembeleto,
Toito.
ayembeleto,
Toito.
ayembeleto,
Toito.
ayembeleto. Ni de were were ni ta.
All right, we are at 10 minutes. How are we doing? People want a little more time?
I think I'm done.
You think you're done? Makeba, I don't know if you understood the assignment, but are you good?
I enjoy listening. I did not understand the assignment, but yeah, that's pretty nice. The ones that I knew, I was singing along.
Yeah,
The ones that
yeah.
I did not, I didn't know the words. I was humming the tune. My energy feels different, so it's fantastic.
Hey, works for you, works for me. We were actually doing a writing assignment of making a praise poem for an ancestor. So that was the
That's
assignment.
because I'm actually in front of like my ancestor altar, and I was just kind of like dancing and stuff, and my roommate is in the back singing, so it's kind of that's interesting.
Well, if you want to come up with something, a quick like little praise poem for an ancestor you'd like to acknowledge or share with us, you're more than welcome to. Oh, okay. Edith has to run. Oh, she has a 6 o'clock. Oh, dang. Okay, so
But
that means you want to
I
share it
can
real
share.
quick?
I can share it. I was gonna put it in the chat, but I think it might be faster if I just read it. I can share it. I really appreciate this. Okay, Mariquita, abuelita full of kisses, wise in the ways of earth and wind. You who knew how to mend broken hearts and strengthen weakened spirits, lover of herbs, animals, and children. Healer healer for her family, her community, carrier of our mother tongue, vessel of our ancestral knowledge. Tlazokamati, abuelita. So this is for my great grandmother who, all I remember is that she was probably in her 90s when I was a kid. But she used to give me a lot of kisses every time she saw me. So I just remember I would call her grandmother abuelita de besitos, like
Oh,
grandmother who
yeah.
kisses a lot. But my mom has a lot of beautiful stories of her, and I've actually written about her a lot. So yeah, I'm gonna say this prayer to her. So thank you so much. This was beautiful.
That is so beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing, even though I know you got to go. That was really beautiful.
Yes, thank you. And I'm gonna try to make it for the next class. Thank
Okay,
you.
great.
And beautiful Orikis, everybody else. Those are beautiful.
Yeah,
Yay.
Have a
that was
good evening. Bye.
thanks. You're great. Bye bye.
Bye-bye. Oh, that was so heartfelt. Oh, man. Oh, man, that was nice. I love these. I hope everyone keeps their Marikis. It's just so heartwarming to hear the stories of our ancestors through our memory, and our feelings and thoughts of how they support and move us to greatness in all ways, big and small. So nice, so nice. All righty, anyone else ready to share an Ariki?
Charity May, first of her name, proud matron of the House of Blackburn, fierce protector, voracious reader, continent-skipping traveler, owner of dreams and numbers, honored grandmother and beloved teacher.
I love the I love how you all weave the mysticism in with them in a way that's so so beautiful. Um, that's because that's who they are, you know. It's in giving, and there was a time and space where we couldn't talk about that, right? But in any way, you know, that talks about someone being possessive of such things without there being other connotations to it. But I'm so glad we've gotten to the point where we can do that and own that and share that and celebrate that, right? That's really beautiful. I really enjoyed that. Really enjoyed that. Oh, so Blackburn is your family name? One of your family names?
Yeah, that's the Louisiana name. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what's up. That's beautiful. All right. Any other take? Oh, actually, let's see how many people we have. That I don't know. Maria, I don't see. Are you at work or are you able to talk?
I'm here. Hi.
Hey, how are you?
Fine, and you? I'm just listening, just taking it all in.
Okay. We got to get caught up. I emailed you. I didn't hear from you. I don't know if something went wrong with my email or not, but I didn't hear from
No,
you.
nothing went wrong. It's just life and work and children and
Yeah.
just busy, busy, busy. It's like I rarely get times like this where I can't actually sit back and listen to something. I'm always busy.
Yeah. All right. We're glad to have you
Good
here.
seeing you again today, though. You look beautiful. You cut your
Oh,
hair?
it's I trimmed it a little, but other than that, it's pretty much just growing.
Okay. I thought it was longer than that.
Oh, I cut it. Actually, no, it's growing now. It used to be longer. Like this is like my second set. Used to be a lot longer, but then I cut it. I cut them off, and then this is my second set. I've been growing for a little while now. Yep. Hmm. All right. So, thank you for joining today, and let me know if you have any questions. Of course.
You know I do, but not right
Mhm.
now.
Okay. Okay, well, you know where to find me. We've been in this at this for a while now, so you know where to find me.
Mhm.
All right, all right. Anyone else have anything? I'm working on one. I was trying to do something different from what I did last time. Last time I talked about my great grandmother, and I talked about her when she left her hometown jumping fences with my great grandfather. My step great grandfather, leaving her husband, she jumped fences until she reached California. That's what I put because she was leaving her husband to running away with and a lover. That's how I opened it. And talked about how she always was a pot stirrer. She always stirred the pot. Uh, she was an agitator, born and bred agitator. So that was a lot of what I focused on with her. And that no man could hold her because they really could not. Not at all. She did not take T for fever. And no man could hold her. And I wonder if she had been born in a different time, if she could live her life differently. I often wonder that about my great grandmother. But she lived life she needed and wanted to live. Um, so I focused this time on another ancestor and just some stories I know about her and my own experiences with her personally. So I'll share those with you all. I don't know. Are you in front of your home? Are you in front of your home, Antonika?
No, I'm at it's my nephew's birthday, so my brother's having a
Oh,
party for him. So I'm at his house,
oh,
but I'm
nice.
outside.
Yeah, it's an interesting view because your background is blurred, but you're super clear.
Oh, it's trees. I blurred it. I used one of the effects and blurred the background. That's all.
Yes, it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
All right. So I'll say mine. daughter of Lavinia and William, Jade Buddha bearer, climber of mango trees, wife of many fine men, maker of beautiful girl children, fish Friday frying, nice and crispy, lover of emerald and gold, the one who saved me, Ibaye grandmother. So that's my mother's mother. She had two daughters, my mother and her sister, and they are both beautiful. And she loved jade Buddhas. She had a collection. I don't know what happened to the collection of Buddhas. I really wish I had taken some. I only have her rosary because she had tons of rosaries. She had rosaries for every occasion. Should have said something about her rosaries. Now that I think about it. I have her rosaries with me, with my ancestors. But she had on top of, she had one of those old floor model TVs until they were no more. She kept hers until flat screen TV be damned. She was not getting no flat screen TV. And she had on that top of that big flat fat TV, she had an assortment of Buddhas from years and years of collecting. And they were all different jade Buddhas. And she loved them. And they were like one of her little prized possessions. And when she was a little kid growing up, she used to always climb mango trees when she was a little girl. So that's why I wanted to mention that she was a climber of mango trees, because she said, I used to eat mangoes off the mango tree. She said she was really small. She like be 6-year-old climbing up mango trees as tall as they were and grabbing them and grabbing her some mangoes and eating them fresh. And she was a Taurus, so she loved gold. She loved topaz. And she loved gold because her daughter, my aunt, loved emerald so much. She loved that color because her daughter loved it. And so it was her way of sharing that love with her daughter. And I say she saved me because she did. She was my angel on earth. She really was. She was a really important person. So that's my great grandmother, really wonderful lady, Ibaye. And so anyone else have any to share? Where were we? 6:22, we're almost out of time. All right. So I'm gonna take these, I'm gonna work on my great grandmother's a little more, probably, give it a little more polish. But I think I hit on some good notes. But I think I'm good with the one I did for my grandmother. Yeah, so I'm gonna put these to my ancestors as well. So if you haven't had a chance to do your Oriki, yes, great family stories. Yes, that's what's so great about Orikis. You can share, you can help someone imagine someone else just by how you shape how you speak about them, right? So yes, we learned a lot about each other's families tonight. And I do hope that you all, even if you don't have one to share tonight, I hope that you come up with, because you all have some beautiful, some of you have shared some stories about your ancestors with me. And I had the honor and pleasure of being at the homegoing service of Makeba's now departed ancestor this summer. So I know that all the stories are told of that packed house. Of that person's home going, I know you got something to say about that ancestor, McCabe. Oh, you would have no trouble even giving the testimony. There are a couple of things I remember that ancestor from that. I know you'd have a wonderful testimony to give, an Oriki to give to that ancestor, if ever you chose to do an Oriki for them, a praise poem. So thank you for sharing your families with us tonight. For those who chose to share, thank you for sharing your love with your ancestors with us. This was really good. I'm feeling like this feels complete. I don't think I'm going to do another class unless you guys want another prayer class. But some of you don't have the advantage of being involved with all 3 sessions that we've had. So if you have any questions about anything we presented, you of course can ask me, directly for that. but I'm thinking about going into another aspect of inner alignment, similar to like another aspect that's different from just Orisha. Thinking about doing that for next time. So next week, there will be no class because we are going to have an initiation ceremony to Yemanja. That's I'm going to be Ajamona for. So so I'm not going to be able to have class because I'm going to be completely in another world in that sense. But we should be able to, and the following Friday, probably not either, because that is also a pretty important day in that process. So the next 2 Fridays, I am not going to have class. So we will resume class the following Friday. So 3 weeks from now, we will have the next class. Okay. And that is all I have. Any other questions, reflections, or thoughts for this session?
I just had a question. What was the last song that you played? Who was that by?
Oh, okay. So I played 3 songs by Okonkolo, which is a group that is in New York of people that I know, priests who formed a music collaborative to produce an album of music that, as you can hear, the instrumentation had clarinet and flute and horns and all of that. So they wanted to come together to do that. And one of the, I don't know if any of you would have been there, but one of the singers on this album is an Ospon that sings with, who has sung in our Ile. She's an amazing Okpon. One of the other few Okpons other than Iya Shabi, who is phenomenal. So I know these folks, and so I like playing their music because I think it's a different take on Orisha music. It's like Baroque. It's like Baroque meets jazz meets traditional folkloric music, because it has a Baroque feel to it because of the instrumentation. Reminds you of what would be in like a small classical ensemble, which is Baroque music, right? So that's why I like it, because it draws on these different influences and makes for a really unique sound. So the name of the group is Okonkolo. And Okonkolo, if you all recall, is one of the bata drums that speaks. It's the one that belongs to Alegba that speaks, the smallest one. So they're by extension of the name that they gave the group, they're paying homage to the bata and to Alegba kind of at the same time. Okay. So if you look them up, I'll put the name in chat so you all can look up the name of the group. I know that they have 2 albums. Let me look up the albums again. Okonkolo, they have Okonkolo, oh shoot, I lost it just that fast. Okonkolo, oh, I had it. I know one album is Cantos. And the other album is Oru Cantando. There we go, he found them. So the albums are Cantos and Oru Cantando. And Cantando is the kind of like the order of the songs that you sing when you're singing for a sacred event. So Oru Cantando is like the order of that the Orisha acknowledge when we are in ceremony with them. So it's a very specific thing to people who are ritual singers. And cantos, of course, means songs. Okay, so thanks for asking about that. I hope you all support them. They're a very good group. The music is really beautiful. And I don't know if you recall, for those of you who took the Akara cooking class, and I played a song to Yemaya, that was also them. And they have the clarinet at the beginning. So that was also, and the person I'm referring to, who's a priestess of Obatala, she sang on that one too. So check them out. They're really good. Really, really good. So with that, I think we can close. And thank you. This is I thought this was a decent class tonight. Yeah, the music is very good. For those of you who I reached out to about next week, hopefully we can be in touch, and I will see you all then. All right.
Right. Have a good evening. Great
Have a
weekend.
great weekend, everybody.
Bye.
Thank
Have a
you.
great
everyone.
weekend.
See ya. Thank you. Bye-bye.